Good morning. This is Merkle, Carl Nathaniel Merkle, CPA, currently doing business as Drake Slayer, and I am looking out in my backyard this morning. It's about 7 in the morning. Sun is just starting to come up, and we see the morning sun essentially here. I don't know if I can zoom in on it, but as the sun starts coming up, I get a look at this place. That property that we're looking at is in that building that we're looking at specifically, that apartment complex, and that unit right there had a fire on January 1, 2015, an act of God. And we can now see the sun starting to come up. And this area, this is our backyard right now. It didn't always look like this. Is a very nice place for us to be during this period of time that I've been conducting and a forensic accounting investigation for God Almighty. God Almighty is recognized in the Texas State Constitution. That unit right there that we're looking at, that top unit, is 4535 Church Road, apartment 406, the top unit. That is where we used to live before we moved into this unit. So this is what we get to see, beautiful in the morning, and I get a look out at the property, and I see just a massive amount of revenue coming in for God's work for two charitable organizations that we have planned. One will be called the Foundation for Honesty and Integrity in Government and Business, which is sorely needed at this point in time because the San Antonio bankruptcy judicial system, based upon my investigation, has turned out to be corrupt. The San Antonio bankruptcy judicial system under Craig Gargata, in my case, has proven to be a racketeering, influenced, corrupt organization, a RICO organization, under which the top executives of an organization, if they're convicted of two such crimes, could go to jail. That basically implicates the entire Fifth Circuit all the way up to the Supreme Court. So that's where this is going to be going. It's pretty severe stuff because right now the federal government has embezzled $1.1 million from my bankruptcy estate. I had to file bankruptcy to stop an illegal foreclosure on that apartment complex. That apartment complex was my personal residence at the time, owned directly by me. And so a corrupt loan servicer, former Lehman Brothers bank subsidiary by the name of Capital Crossing Servicing Company, after a fire in that unit on January 1, 2015, stole and embezzled my hazard insurance money and then proceeded to conduct an illegal foreclosure, declaring that I had payment default when, under proper accounting, using generally accepted accounting principles, which is what big businesses are supposed to be using, my loan was current, never had any unpaid payment when the hazard insurance was properly applied according to the contract. And so they attempted to illegally foreclose on that property. They got a fraudulent $940,000 amount confirmed in my bankruptcy plan of reorganization through trickery. I objected, and that started then what's called an adversary process, in which I began to have litigation with them, and they conducted basically a sham trial. It was a kangaroo court set up to get a fraudulent set of facts on the record facts that are not my facts, facts that turn out to be embezzlers' facts, but the embezzlers include Kevin Shea of Capital Crossing, who's the person who actually misapplied my hazard insurance money in the amount of $105,000 approximately, and then the other embezzlers include specifically David Gregg and Natalie Wilson of Langley and Banach, and it includes Craig A. Gargata, a bankruptcy judge, who, according to an order by Judge Xavier Rodriguez, a former Texas Supreme Court justice, appropriately determined that Judge Gargata was an accounting preparer. Basically, Gargata filled the shoes of Kevin Shea, so Gargata became an accounting preparer. Gargata recently refused to listen to my arguments in his courtroom, completely ignored strong evidence of fraud upon the court, basically just kind of shoved it under the carpet. And so now the matter, as of today, goes to Judge Xavier Rodriguez. And the question is, will Judge Xavier Rodriguez do the right thing and fix the accounting errors of his underling, Mr. Gargata, and stop this insanity? Because in fact, I did state a basis upon which a claim could be granted when you consider the fact that I stated that my hazard insurance money had been misapplied. And now we've got a nice little accounting argument going on, in which I assert that I never had a single payment default in my entire loan when my loan is properly accounted for, that the notice letters that were issued were procedurally defective, and therefore an illegal foreclosure was attempted. That was stopped. Judge Gargata, in his what might have been an accounting error, but it has now become an irregularity based upon activity that occurred during March, April, May 2020, in which it appears that possibly God stepped in and intervened and brought us COVID-19 to wake people up to the corruption that exists within our judicial system, which may very well become a rallying cry during this election cycle. I intend to take this stuff public, just using the simple tools I have at my disposal. Facebook, my right as a citizen to freedom of speech, my right as a citizen to a trial by jury for property that has been stolen from me. And my jury questions are mainly going to be, do you think it's okay to steal? That's number one. And number two, do you think it's okay to steal if you think you can't get caught? That's question number two. And if I can get the third question in, would be, do you think it's okay for federal judges to steal and deny people their constitutional rights to a trial by jury for property stolen from them? That's it, folks. God bless. Have a great day. Bye-bye.